the CI/CD pipelines. So the 3 days will be taken over by Jobin, Ashwin, and Rahul, and we have Palni here as a moderator. As we know, it's co-hosted by the Chennai chapter, and of course we have Rohit here. And yeah, Jobin, can you go ahead, share your screen?
My screen is visible to everybody.
Yeah, Jobin, the screen is now visible. Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. So I think we can start right now. So this event is hosted by Kerala community and co-hosted by the Chennai chapter. And the QR code you are seeing now on the screen is the QR code for the Kerala chapter official community group and the Chennai chapter official community group. So in order you have to, you can join by scanning these two QR codes for both of the chapter groups. So I will just give you a minute for that.
Yeah, so these are like official chapter groups from UiPath. So the moment you enroll yourself, you get notified with any kind of an event that happens either in Kerala or Chennai. So if you get a chance to join, then you can join, or if you want to be a speaker, or if you want to host, or if your company allows gives permission to host any session, you can reach out either to Alan or to me or to any one of the speakers here. We can will be more than happy to join hands and then can take sessions. And if you want to be a speaker, be it virtual or in person, you can reach out to us. We have a separate group called WhatsApp group. It's still optional, but if you want to enroll, you can enroll. Post to this, Jobin will be sharing another QR where you can join the WhatsApp group. You can get enrolled.
Yeah, now we have the QR code for the WhatsApp group on the screen.
Yeah.
So you also can post your queries about UiPath, every stuff here. So we have much MVPs and many talented professionals over there who will uh, like answer your queries there itself.
Good. I think we'll still share this QR code in the chat. If you haven't enrolled, you can copy from there. I think we are good to start, Jobin.
So let me introduce Rohit Radhakrishnan. Many of you have already been like familiar with Rohit, who is our regional community manager, APAC. So he is here with us today. He will like from the beginning, like from the start itself, he is with us for the every like moving out a stone. He is there for everything. So a special thanks for him, and he is here today. And Rohit, would you like to have a few words?
I think Rohit left, Alan. Maybe we can continue.
Okay, fine. So yeah, and we have Vibor, Vibor, who is also will be familiar for most of you, who is a global community advocacy manager at UiPath. Yeah, and moving on, our session will be like it's a 3 day session, and our talented MVPs Jobin, Rahul, and Ashwin will be taking over the session. And as you know, Jobin is a technical account manager at Wonderboards, and Rahul is an automation specialist at Tech Mahindra, and Ashwin is a senior RPA developer at Bilenium. And this event is co-hosted with the Chennai chapter, and we have Palaniyappan and Lalsa as moderators for this. Palaniyappan works in Novo nowadays as a solution architect, intelligent automation, and Lalsa as senior RPA developer at Salaries. And this event is organized by myself, Alan, and I'm working as a senior software engineer at Novigo, and Shan is a solution architect at Exponential Digital Solutions. Now, Jobin will be taking over from here. All over to you, Jobin.
Thank you, Alan. So my audio is good, right?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this event. So without wasting time further, we can directly jump into the topics for the day. So today we're gonna discuss about the continuous integration and delivery pipeline for UiPath process deployment series. So in this series, we are trying multiple approaches. On the very first day, we are going with the Azure DevOps. So here is the agenda for the day. So we are starting with the introduction to DevOps and CI/CD pipeline, then setting up your UiPath environment with Azure DevOps and building CI/CD pipeline for UiPath automation. And subsequently, we will be having a live demo and there will be an open discussion on the question and answers. Okay, let's begin with a traditional way of CI/CD. So mostly you heard about CI/CD, right? So let's first understand what is this CI/CD in a generic way. So in RPA context, it is different, but when it is coming to the normal software development lifecycle, this is different. Okay. So continuous integration and continuous delivery is a software development approach where all the developers work together on a shared repository. So in a layman language, I will put this statement on a different way, saying that so when you have a frequent delivery of your product or your software or your process automation, and you want to deliver that small pieces to your customer on a frequent interval. So what you can do, you can bring the automation capability into the software development life cycle itself. So the deployment will be automated, your testing will be automated. So kind of everything will be automated and your end product will be delivered on the different environment. It could be a developer environment or testing environment, or maybe in the production itself. So these things will be automated and there will be some stages, some sort of approval, some sort of coding standards, maybe some. So all these things will be coming together on one roof. So that is the common terminology CI/CD. Okay, so let's first understand on a typical software engineer's role. So you can look into the a picture below this one. A software engineer who is working on a Visual Studio, he's pushing his code to a GitHub repository. From there, Azure DevOps continuous integration will take it and they will pack the project which they are working, and CD will be deploying into the end side, which means it will be a developer environment or a production environment, whatever. So this is the generic thing. So now let's talk about in the context of RPA. So here a standard UiPath workflow may follow having the following steps. The very first thing will be starting with the build process from your version control system through the pipeline. Okay, which means that you're working on a UiPath Studio and you're working on a project. Your project will be having multiple file types, including SAML file, correct? And you assume that you are pushing your code into GitHub repository, and from there it should go to orchestrator, right? So this process will be integrated on Azure DevOps. So for that, we are using a concept called pipeline and release. So the whole intention behind this session is a live session. So I'm not going to spend much time on the slides. So I'm going forward with the live example. So that time it will be very clear for you. So without wasting time, I'm just moving to the next slide. Okay. So here, there are some key components in the Azure pipeline. First, let's understand this thing, then we can jump into the rest of the things. So there is something called pipeline definition. So pipeline definition in the sense, whenever we are creating a pipeline, there is a structure and there will be n number of stages in it. So that's we call pipeline definition. And there is something called agents. So agents in the sense, whatever the actions you are performing on your Azure pipeline, that should run on a machine, right? So this is similar to the way you are running your unattended robot. So there is a place, it could be a virtual machine or a standalone machine, whatever it is, there will be an infrastructure or an operating system environment should be present to run our job, right? So same way, Azure pipeline also expecting something called agents. So that's an execution environment. And same like on the orchestrator, we have something called triggers here. So we can do it manually scheduled or based on the code changes. So trigger, or I will put this on a very simple manner. Let's say that whenever a new code change happened to your repository, that time the pipeline should trigger. So we can do the changes accordingly. Okay. Now jobs. So each stage consists of one or more jobs. So a job presents a unit of work. So which means that a job having multiple steps in it. Okay. And there is something called stages. Stages represent the logical division within your pipeline. So we are isolating each functionality. Let's say that building, testing, deploying. So likewise, we are isolating each stages. Maybe as in the software development lifecycle, there will be multiple stages in it, right? Likewise, we are isolating it. And steps. Steps are a very individual step. This is performing a very specific action. For example, it's going to run a script. It will generate an output for us. So it's going to be a one action. And finally, we have something called artifacts. Artifacts is something like whenever you are running your pipeline, there will be an outcome from that. So the outcome could be a binary file or a NuGet package. So that is based on your project. Okay. This is all about the key components on the Azure pipeline. So don't worry that, don't think that I'm covering so many things on the slide and you are not able to catch it up. I will show you the Azure UI and I will explain you this thing one more time. Okay. Now, there are different ways to define Azure pipeline. Okay. There are two ways in it. The modest way will be by using a YAML file. There would be a file called YAML. That's an extension. Extension will be YML. So you can, this is basically a configuration file. Okay. So there you can put your steps, stages, whatever I mentioned so many key components, right? Whatever the things I mentioned there, you can put it here and make a structurable one. So that's one way. An alternative way will be, there will be an UI or a user interface. By leveraging that option, you can do this. Okay, now let's jump into the hands-on. Okay, the very first thing. So I'm just going to the browser of mine. Okay. Alan or Palni, can you confirm the screen is visible still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm just going to the Azure DevOps. So if you very new to this one, so this is a cloud platform of Azure DevOps. If you want to create an account, you can just use the URL dev.azure.com. And the moment you enter here, it is a free of cost thing. So not for the enterprise usage, but for the community kind of things or a research purpose, yes, you can go ahead and create a free one. So you can click here, start free, then you can provide your details. It will create an account like this. So the moment you create an account on Azure DevOps, you have to create an organization. So I have created an organization with my name, Jobin Tekekerajoy. So if you would like to add one more thing, yes, you can go ahead and create here by clicking on the new organization. And once you created the organization, you can create multiple projects in it. Projects having multiple things. I was talking about pipeline. I was talking about releases, right? All those things will come under these projects. So for the purpose of this demo, I have created it as an intelligent automation. This is a project. Whenever you want to create a new one, you can simply click here. You can name the project, give a description. You can make it as private or public. So there is some policies. I make it as private. If you want, you can change it, and you can choose your version control tool as well. Okay. And currently I have created one. So this is the one. Okay. And if you come here, there will be so many things in it. There will be pods, repositories, pipeline, releases, libraries, test plans, artifacts, so many components. So probably you can able to recollect what I was explained on the key components on the Azure, right? So this is the repo. It comes under, there is a pipeline, there's a test plan, there is an artifact, this kind of things. Okay. Based on your purpose, these options will be valid. Okay. Now, first thing you have to understand is, in order to run any kind of CI/CD pipeline, you need an environment. Same like when you are running your unattended robot, you need a place to execute it, right? A robot or a robot machine. So same way, here we have, if you click on the settings, here we can see something called agent pool. So agent pool is it's a cluster kind of thing. So where you have to mention where you are running this. So by default, there will be something called Azure pipeline or default. The problem with this is this sometimes might require subscription. So what you can do is you can create your own pool. So I have created something called self-hosted underscore Jobins. This is the agent pool which I have created for myself. So same way, it won't be asking much things here. So just you can give new, and you can choose whether it's the self-hosted or Azure virtual machine scale set. So this will be chargeable. Okay. So for the demonstration purpose, I just put self-hosted, and you can give a name and grant access permissions to all pipelines. I can simply create it. So this kind of things will appear. The moment you go inside your agent pool, it is expecting an agent. So when you're doing this for the very first time, you won't get this at all. So under the agent pool, there is something needed is agent. Okay, this is how on your organization, if you are using Azure DevOps, this is how your server setup will be look like. This is gonna your server. Okay. Some people will call it as a built machine, built server. Okay. So ideally, it's saying that the place where the build happening. Okay. So the main purpose of this machine is, if you using UiPath, in order to make it as a NuGet package, there is something needed in the behind, right? What is that? That is UiPath CLI. By leveraging CLI only, we are packing things, right? So, and sometimes we need some other components from UiPath itself. So all those things should be installed on this machine. So this is the machine which I'm presenting to you guys now. Okay. So in order to add this, what you can do, you can simply click here on the new agent. So this kind of window will appear. Based on your operating system, you can choose this. But keep in mind that UiPath will be supporting Windows operating system alone. So go ahead with only this one, okay? And you can download this. There is a file will be get downloaded, okay? And I'm just going to my machine. And you can see a folder here, right? This is Azure DevOps, and here I have named a folder called self-hosted Windows agent, right? So this is the file. This is a zip file which I have downloaded from this place. Okay, whenever I'm hitting download, this kind of zip file will be generated. Okay, what I did, I just unzipped this one, and if you go inside, you can see a file called config. What you have to do, just simply right-click and run as administrator. So a window will be appearing. Okay. So I'm just going back to my slide and show you something. So the moment the configuration window appeared, it will be asking for few information. The very first thing will be your URL. So dev.azure.com, the name of the organization. You should have to provide that. Along with that, you have to enter something called PAT, personal access token. Okay. So if you enter this will be getting registered to your machine. So the same thing, let's go with UiPath itself. The way you are connecting your orchestrator with your machine, right? How you guys are doing it? You are make use of UiPath assistant, right? There will be multiple way of authentication. You are choosing one of them, and it will get a connection established with the orchestrator, right? Same way, this is the machine, this is the config. by entering the PAT, personal access token, it will register to your Azure DevOps. Okay. Then subsequently, it will be asking for the agent pool which you are created, and it will be asking for the agent name. That's I just given my machine name. Then it will start installing the stuff. Okay. Then here the extra thing it is asked. Two ways we can do this. Either you can set up this as a manual thing, or we can set up this as a service thing. So what I did, I make this as a service, which means once I'm done with this configuration thing, so if you go to services.msc, this is the place where we can see all the services running. So here you can see something called Azure Pipeline Agent, my name and my agent pool and my device. So this is not my name. This is the organization name which I given on Azure DevOps. And the second thing is my agent pool. And third one is my agent on it. So, and this service will be running in the behind. So with saying that whenever a request coming, this service will pick that instantly and it produce the output and send it back to the DevOps UI. I'm just giving a small pause here. I hope this thing is clear for you. So if you have any specific questions, put it on the chat. So we'll try to address those questions. Okay. So whenever you are working on your enterprise level, you might have an infrastructure team. They are working on it. And they are saying that you can make use of this agent pool or this agent alone. And from the behind, this is how the server will be looks like. Okay. So inside the server, there will be a service running like this. And on that server machine, it should have CLI, UiPath, all necessary things. Okay. I think now you got an idea how this thing will work. Okay. Now let's cover. There are some other things I want to cover before I'm jumping to the actual pipeline stuff. So if you open this machine, here there is something called capabilities. So this capabilities is nothing but what are the functions or the software components you have it on your device. Okay, sometimes this is my machine. Okay, most of the things is installed on this device, but sometimes in order to run a pipeline, there is something extra required. So you know that NPM is an extra component which is required. So what I did, I installed NPM on my device. So at that time, what you have to do, you have to click on this plus symbol and give this key and give its installation directory here. If you are not giving this, you will be start getting errors like this. So I'm just expanding this. See, I have created a pipeline and it's saying an error saying that no agent found on the self-hosted -jobins, which satisfy the specific demands NPM and this version. Okay, so the workaround will be you can directly install NPM package manager, or else if you install Node.js, it will be automatically there. So you just add that, and as you can see here, you just add NPM, then this value. That's it. So if you are asking me from where you can put this name means the error message, it will say NPM, right? So you put that NPM as a name and its path where it is residing. That's it. So this is a one workaround. If you are facing similar issues, next time if you are saying that your Java SDK is missing, install Java SDK, whatever the name you are getting here, add it and mention its execution directory. That's it. It will work. Okay. So that's all about the agent. So this is all about the place where we are running or building our pipeline. Okay. Now let's jump into the real concept which we are going to cover today. Okay. So now I am inside my project. Okay. I'm going to create a pipeline. Okay. So here on the pipeline, we'll be getting an options to create a pipeline. Okay. I'm clicking here. So already there are a few pipelines which I have created. So I'm going to create a brand new one. So before creating that, we all know that we need a version control tool or a repository to store our files first, right? So what I will do, I'm going to GitHub. Okay. So I want a repository first. So I'm going to create a new repository. So for the demonstration purpose, and let's name it invoice dispatcher. Okay, this is going to be the name. Okay, And for the yeah, I'll make it as a private one, and I'm creating a repository. Yeah, this is get created for me, and I'm just copying this URL for a while. Okay, so I have a repository now. Now I can just simply create a UiPath project just to add something to this, so that only you can understand when I'm pushing this into the orchestrator. So I'm going to create a new process. Let's name the same thing. Okay. Yeah, and just make use of the same name, invoice dispatcher. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to create this with the Windows compatibility. I'm gonna add a simple log message. Yeah, welcome to UiPath community. So I just given a simple log message here, and I'm good. Okay. Now, while I'm trying to add this to Git init, definitely there will be an error. First, I will show you this, and then I will mention the reason. So let's mention this as initial commit. Okay. And I'm pushing this. So it will be asking for the URL, and from here you can get it from your repository. You can name something like same thing, invoice, repo, whatever, and give that URL and just add it and save. So the moment it will try to add to the GitHub repository, and you will be getting an error like this. So this is saying that if you are using GitHub as your repository and you are trying to integrate it with UiPath Studio, there will be an extension or a plugin kind of things there on GitHub for UiPath itself. You need to install and provide access to your repository. So I'm just clicking here. You see this. This is something provided from the UiPath itself. So here, this is ideally giving access to, sorry guys. Yeah, this is ideally providing a read access to the metadata and read and write access to the code. Okay, so here I have n number of repositories. So not everything I selected here. You can't see something called invoice dispatcher here, right? So I'm clicking here and I'm adding a new one here. So it will be listed over here and save it. Okay. And again, go back to here. Yeah, I'm just canceling this. And again, just clicking OK. And here there are 24 changes. Yeah, it's committed. If you go to your project level and clicking on the show history, you can see that initial commit which is happened on your main branch. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I can refresh here and show you the same. Yeah. There's some source code has been added and then there is one commit happened. Yeah. Here it is. Okay. And we are good with this. So now you have a repository, a code has been committed. Now let's come back to here for your pipeline thing. Now I'm creating a pipeline. Okay. So I was mentioning defining a pipeline in two different ways. First one is a YAML file. Okay. So since you guys are beginner to this, maybe an expert will be here. That's totally fine. But there will be some guys getting started with this DevOps or CI/CD thing. So for them, YAML will be a bit difficult initially. So what I'm doing is I'm going with the UI thing. This is the classic editor. Okay. What you have to do, you choose your source. Your source is coming from GitHub, right? And you choose your repository. So here, this is my repository, right? Invoice dispatcher. I'm selecting this. Okay. And I'm clicking on continue. So the moment I clicked on continue, there will be a lot of features will be here. Okay. So keep in mind that Azure DevOps is not just for UiPath. There are so many things in the Microsoft ecosystem and outside as well need to be, we can integrate it with Azure DevOps. Okay, there will be so many extensions available. Okay, so I'm gonna create an empty job. Hope you guys remember I was talking about what is job on key components of Azure DevOps, right? So the very first thing, pipeline, I'm just giving a name. So I'm just giving the name. It's one second. Invoice dispatcher is the name I'm giving. Okay. So this is just the name of the pipeline. And now agent pool is important thing. So there are so many agents in it, but you know, right? This is the agent pool where my mission is connected, correct? You choose this. Okay. Now your source is already chosen. Okay. Now coming here on the agents. So here, as I mentioned earlier, job having multiple steps in it, correct? So in order to add a step, so this is the place where your agent will run and build the outcome. Okay. So you just simply click here. The first thing, I'm just going to add a PowerShell script here. Okay. I will explain the reason why I am adding this. Okay. So for the interest of the time, I'm keeping this script handy. Okay. So you don't want to worry that I'm writing a number of codes here. It's pretty simple. So I'm not keeping it as a file. I'm just keeping it as an inline one. Okay. So this is the code. Yeah, I will explain this code. Before explaining that, I need something extra here. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm going to variables and I'm gonna create few variables here. So if you look into my notepad, I have something called build ID, match, mine, patch, and release version. You know the build conversion, right? Which Microsoft is following, major, minor, patch, and release kind of thing. Same way, we are keeping 4 variables for this purpose. So you can simply add here major, and initially it is always going to be 1, you know. So same way I'm creating rest of the variables. So we can give any name. So I'm just giving this. I just given this one and I'm going to options. Okay. And from options, I just make use of the same variables. Here are the variables. And at the end, I put something called rev::r. So this is a reserved variable on the Azure DevOps. Okay. What it will do, whatever the value coming on this place will be incremented by 1. So for example, if I'm running now, my version is 1.0.0.1. On the next run, it become 0.2. That's it. And this one is automatically taking your pipeline name. So here it is invoice dispatcher, right? So this is a reserved keyword. This will fetch the value of this one. Okay. So at the end, the values looks like invoice dispatcher underscore whatever the run we are doing. Based on that, the number will get generated. Okay. Okay, perfect. I'm coming back to here. So now I explain why I kept this PowerShell script. So you know that as per this specific build number, the name, there will be some text afterwards. This number is generating, right? So I want to, for some other purposes, I want to take this numbers alone, ideally the version alone for some other purpose. So what I did, I'm just using a split function here, and I'm taking an before underscore is my build definition name, and after underscore is my release version. That's it. There is no other thing. Rest other things are comments. Okay. Now we are good with this. Now what I'm going to do is I want something to run on my agent, which will do the job of packing, correct? So what I'm doing here, if you type UiPath, there will be a number of extension will be appear. In that, you can choose UiPath install platform. Keep in mind that this thing is not mandatory, but sometimes there will be issues you guys facing if you are not adding this one. So you know, right, the different compatibility mode on UiPath Studio, right? So there will be cross-platform, normal Windows, legacy kind of thing. So you can choose the most recent one. And here you don't need to give any path to the CLI. It will auto fetch. So that's it. On this UiPath install for platform, you don't want to do anything. Only choose the CLI version which you want. And again, adding in another extension from UiPath that is called UiPath Pack. So packing in the sense here in the description itself, it's given at packing an existing UiPath project into NuGet package. So what's the result when you're building your project on UiPath Studio? It will create a NuGet package that will be uploaded to your orchestrator, right? The same way, where you make use of this UiPath pack, okay? So this is the name of the pack, and here it is giving 3 options to versioning. Okay, sorry. So an auto-generated one, user specified version in the project.json file, or we can use the custom one. I'm gonna use this custom one. The reason is I have made something here to make it customized, correct? So that's a reason I'm giving custom, okay? And here is the version, okay? So if you come here on the variable side, this is the last one, right? I need this number here because all the times whenever I'm getting a new pack, that should be get revised. Okay, there should be a dollar symbol given to get it accept here. So you should not give like this. You should keep dollar within the bracket, give the variable name. Okay, so it will take the value whatever there. Okay, and here it will be asking for the project path. So since you already configured your source here, this will be auto appearing. We all know that whenever we need some information from a process, it will be there on your project JSON form. So you can choose that and choose output type. So output type of the project. So whatever it is generating, the same thing will appear there. And you can see here, the output will be stored on your staging directory. Okay, so here my build staging directory is going to be my machine, and this is going to be the place. Okay, assume this is the server. Okay. All right, now this is the location which it's automatically given here, so we can go ahead with the same thing. So based on your requirement, you can change this in for future. Okay, so now this will pack the things for it, and it will give us a NuGet package. All good. Now the only thing is we want to publish this package somewhere, right? So there is something called publish artifact. So just type for artifact. Yeah, publish artifact. So what it will do, it will build the artifact to the Azure pipeline. So it will be storing that NuGet package somewhere, okay, to make use in the release. So here nothing, whatever the default things coming, you can choose that, okay. So the location will be Azure pipeline. So within the system itself, it will be storing that file, okay. So now we are good with the thing, okay, and you can just save this. So you can create subfolders here and save it, or else you can get it on the root level itself. So let's give any pipeline created. Okay, I'm saving this. Now go back to the pipeline. You can see here, click on all, and you can see that there is a pipeline up here, and it's saying that no runs yet. You can click here, and there is absolutely nothing here. So that you can click on run pipeline and make sure by default you given this anyway, make sure it's on the self-hosted thing. So because this is where your agent is available, and come to your services, make sure this is in running status. By default, it should be on running status. Okay. And I have only one branch main, so I have no issues with this. I'm running this. So the moment I'm running, there is something called agent job here. If you click here, you can see the logs. Okay, so it's start picking. It's queued up for picking up. It will take a while sometimes. Yeah, it started. So it was looking for the changes on the GitHub. So this is the place, and it is running the PowerShell script which I built. See here, it's saying it's building the name something like invoice dispatcher 1.0.0.1. And then it will install the platform for the CLI purpose. Then finally, it will be start packing it. For the very first time, as in the UiPath Studio, it will compiling, it is building the thing. So it will take some time, okay, on the very first time. And you can see here how much time it is taking, okay. All right, this is done. So if you go to the bottom of this log screen, you can see something called packed project invoice dispatcher, and this is the version saved to a directory right here. Yeah, this is the directory. So this directory will be a build machine or build server on the enterprise level, okay? And this example, this laptop itself, so acting as my server, right? So if you go here, underscore work for a output, okay? I'm going here, there is a folder called work and for a output. See, you can give a NuGet package over here, correct? Invoice dispatcher with the version. So this is how this will work, okay? So in the case of, if you are facing any issues with your Azure pipeline, if you want to troubleshoot something on your server level, yes, you can check such a way, okay? Now we are good with your pipeline. So now the NuGet package is ready. The next thing will be, you want to publish this thing into your orchestrator, right? So I'm just gonna open my orchestrator, my community edition, and I will open my orchestrator, okay? I'm keeping a photo here, RPA. So yeah, this is the place I want to publish the thing, okay? So here I have 3 processes already. Along with this, I want the invoice dispatcher as well, okay? So what I can do is just come back to here, and in order to release it, what we need a release pipeline, okay? So for that, you can click on the release, and you can see a couple of releases already exist there, and you can create a new one for yours. Okay, so as always, go with an empty thing. Yeah, and we can give a stage name. So where you are doing this. So for now, I'm just moving this into my dev environment. So that's why I'm just giving the name as dev, okay? And here, click on the artifacts. So you know that whenever I'm creating my pipeline, at last I was using an extension called, what is that, publish artifacts, right? So that will be storing my NuGet package on the Azure pipeline. So I want to point it to the right project. Okay, so this is my project and I'm just choosing that one. So here is my invoice dispatcher and it is taking the latest one. Okay, and I can simply add. So my source is selected. So next thing is I want to move this into my developer orchestrator or dev tenant, let's say. Okay, I'll click here. So I was explaining jobs and tasks, right? So click here. So this is name of the stage and I have a job here to be run on my agent. Okay. So same like last time, make sure you're pointing to the right agent pool where your agent reside and you're good. And here, in order to publish your NuGet package into Orchestrator, we can make use of another UiPath extension, which is called UiPath Deploy. Okay, UiPath Deploy is a extension which used to move that NuGet package into UiPath Orchestrator. So you given this here. So here are a few things we need to go completely understand. So we can use an extension that's really good, but how you can point this to your orchestrator? For that, there is a connection available on Azure DevOps for this orchestrator things. If you click on my dropdown, you can see a couple of options, but let's go with a new one. If you click here, this is the place where you can add a new service connection. So we know that this is going to be your orchestrator URL, correct? So there are 3 authentication methods. There will be basic authentication. Palni, are you trying to say something?
Javed, we have a question. Maybe we'll take another.
Yeah. Okay.
So Yeah, so we have a question from Ed that
Yep.
we can see in the chat.
Yep, sure.
If you can unmute yourself, or if we are still fine to go with your chat, but if you would like to elaborate a little bit, you
This
can
is the
unmute
one, right?
yourself and then.
Yeah, if you want to hold this to the end too, that's fine. Sorry, I was just thinking out loud.
Yeah, I understood your question. Yes,
Yeah,
maybe
it's just that I could see the power of this. I'm really just curious about, how you guys got to this. Like, what were you running into in the project that you decided to go to this level? But again, I think you're on a roll here, so save it to the end.
Yep, sure. So
Right.
I probably understand your question. You probably coming with something like where we can enforce workflow analyzer and testing kind of things and some sort of code quality analysis kind of steps. Yep. Yeah, we'll come to that in the conclusion. Hope that will be fine for you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Yeah. Okay, we're talking about the different authentication methods. So you can go with basic token-based or external application. Yeah, so if you, let's say example, if you are taking token-based authentication, you can provide your orchestrator URL and your organization name and your specific API key and your tenant name. That's it. And you just give a name. Okay. And that will be get added here. So this is something I already added. I make use of it. Okay. And in this place, it is asking for the package path. Click on the three dots. You know that it's already created. And this NuGet package residing under the output. Choose that output folder. Okay, that's it. And coming to here, when it is coming to the orchestrator, we have more than folders. Everybody knows that. So it's residing under RPA folder, right? So we need to mention that as well. So this will go to there. That's it. And as usual, your entry point is main.xaml. It's already present there. So on that aspects, we are good. And we don't want to do anything much here. I'm just saving something will create a release. Okay. All right. And we have created this, and I'm just going back here and my invoice dispatcher appeared. I'm just gonna run this. Okay. Whenever you're running, it is asking for the branch. By default, I have one. Maybe in future, if you have multiple branches, that time you can change your setup accordingly. Okay. And I'm running this. So my agent job is start running. Sorry, guys. My bad. I ran the pipeline again. That's totally fine. I should have to run it from here. I ran the pipeline again. Sorry. This is the release pipeline which we are creating. I just want to rename it properly. Okay. Release. Okay. And saving this. Fine. I want to create a release. Okay. And while creating a release, it will asking for the environment, dev tenant or prod, UAT, whatever it is. Currently, I'm keeping one. Likewise, you can having multiple stages in it. So if you are having your organization is following three structure like dev, UAT, and prod, yes, you can do that. And for your prod, you need some sort of approval. Yes, we can do that. Okay. Yeah. And I choose dev and artifacts level, you can see. Since I ran the pipeline 2 times, this number is incremented to 2. Okay. And give some meaningful name, something like initial uh, publish, whatever it is, some meaningful name. Okay. Meaningful description, I mean. Yeah, just create it. All right. And your release one is here, and it is going to publish on your dev tenant, I mean, on the dev environment, clicking on dev deploy option and use some description deploying into dev tenant Okay, and deploy it. So same way you can see a log over here. So it will be connecting to the service on my machine. It will start to deploy. All right, so it's deployed. And if you come here on this logs, you can see that it's saying that deployed this specific version into folder RPA. So now I'm coming here. So this is the one. I'm just refreshing and you can see invoice dispatcher over here with that version number. So this is how it will work. Okay. So the process is pretty simple, right? Now I'm coming to, I know that there will be a lot of questions on your mind to be asked. For the interest of time, I can't cover everything. Yes, you can create assets. You can replace your configuration file. And if you are adding, let's take this pipeline one more time here. So here you have only one stage for dev and you want to create multiple stages like UAT prod and you want to make some other extra configurations there. Yes, everything is possible. Okay, so and with the series, what we are trying to do is we are just giving to give a basic idea how this thing is working. Okay. So that's everything is possible. And before I'm just moving to the next things, I want to highlight one more thing here. So I was talking something like there are two ways on my slides, right? So if you look into the slides, I was saying that there are two different ways to define Azure DevOps. So this is a classic method using interfaces. So nowadays people are start going with the YAML file. Okay. So what you can do is it's a pretty simple configuration file. So if you are very new to this, you are not getting an understand how it's the syntaxing or structure kind of things. There is an easy way for that. So initially I used this one, right? This thing. Okay, like UI thing. Instead, if you are going with the YAML, what you can do, you can click on the new pipeline and the GitHub is your source. Okay, it will list down your repositories. And here, if you have a template, you can use an existing one, or else you can start with a new one. Your YAML file will be looks like this. So it will say that trigger which branch it is. So it will keep monitoring for this branch changes along. Okay. And it will saying the pool, which pool it is. A virtual machine image Ubuntu at it's by default it's taking. So on our case, you know, right, our agent pool name and that name. So likewise, we can do that. And from this one, right, already we have created one thing, right? From here also, you can take that YAML configuration. For example, here is my script, right? If you go here and view YAML, you can see this YAML notation for this specific thing. Same way, let's take it for UiPath pack. Click on the YAML. You can see that how it looks like. So based on this, you can understand how the notation will come in future. So you can simply copy paste this thing into a notepad and try to understand what is this? This is stage, this is task, and these are the inputs, and this is how it will work. Okay, so it's a pretty simple. Maybe if you are looking into this for the very first time, it will be difficult, but definitely it's going to be a very easy thing for you. Okay. This is the very basic thing about this Azure DevOps. This is how simply we can move your things into orchestrator in a flexible way, let's say. Okay. Now yeah, we are done with these things. So this is all about the things which I planned for the day, and we have planning for some Mentimeter thing based on the discussion we had so far. I think before that, if you have any specific thing, be ready. Once we are done with this, there is a time for Q&A. We can during the time we can discuss. Yeah, Palni, over to you.
Okay. So I'll just quickly share my screen. I would appreciate if you can take your mobile and then you'll be displayed with the QR code. not this, so that maybe I'll just start sharing my screen directly. Just a second. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. Tobin, is it visible?
Yes, it is.
So I would appreciate everyone to just get your mobile and then scan this QR, or if not, you can open this URL and then type this code. So we'll be having a quiz of 5 questions, and then the whoever tops the leaderboard will be given some goodies. We'll try to collect the email ID of those, and then Alan will be sharing you the goodies in some time. So maybe once you have logged in, and then we're able to access this, just give a like button so that we ensure that everyone is able to access it. If not, then just raise your challenge in the chat. Can help you out. Let's take another 2 minutes for this. I've got half of the response. Let's wait for another minute. Tobin, am I still audible, I guess?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. All right, we have got 35 approvals so far. Still people, I think, that are joining. Are you good to start? Thank you.
I think
All
we
right.
have 57 participants. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have like 57 currently available. I know some of them it's on off time for them. Then
Yeah.
join meantime. Let's go for the first question. All right, let's get started. Okay, what is a continuous integration, continuous delivery, CI/CD means? Answer now. Good. So it's actually a modern software development practice we incorporate in our day-to-day software development lifecycle. That's good. So let's see who leads the leaderboard. Surya Varanasi. Great. So let's keep the momentum. Go for the next question. All right. Let's go for the second question now. CI/CD helps automate and streamline the process of what? Just give me a second. I'll quickly collect my charges. Oh, nice. All of them. Huh?
That's great.
So it's usually for building, testing, and deploying the applications. Nice. So let's see who's the leaderboard. Okay, nice. Surya Varanasi. So Oliver, you're just 49 points away. Like, let's see. Let's go for the third one. Okay, which of the following is not the key components of Azure DevOps pipeline? It was actually mentioned in the session. Let's see. Nice. It's actually the arguments, just not the key component of Azure DevOps pipeline. Cool. Let's see who is in the leaderboard now. Nice. So many changes. We still got, yeah, still got 2 more questions. Congrats, Oliver, and Surya Varanasi is still in the board. And we have a new person, Ahmed. Nice. Let's go for the fourth one now. Yeah. All ready? Which of the following is not the UiPath extension for CI/CD? Got 15 seconds. Oh, why? Okay, so it's the right answer is UiPath triggers. I guess like this time also we'll see a lot of changes in the leaderboard. Let's see. All right, you're leading the board. There's a new person behind Ram. Let's see how it goes with the final question. Okay, this is the final one. So please be quick and precise with your answer. Let's go for the question. What are the different types of authentication methods available in Azure DevOps to connect orchestrators?
It is orchestrator. Orchestrators is the typo mistake. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, still, yeah, 14 is a really reasonable count. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. So good. It's about the basic token-based and external application authentication.
So
All right,
guys, remember when I was explaining the authentication, you've seen 3 options, right? So keep in mind that. So we have 3 different options. Yeah. Just go ahead, Palni.
All right. Let's go for the leaderboard. And nice. Nice. Congrats. Congrats, Surya
Congrats.
Varanasi. Maybe if you're comfortable, you can turn on your camera. And then I would appreciate if you can share your email ID in the chat so that I can pass it to Alan.
Hi guys, thank you
Hi.
for. All right, I'll paste my email address in the chat.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Congratulations, Surya.
Congrats, Surya.
Thank you.
Cool. Let's go for the Q&A now.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing my screen and let's discuss about the Q&A. And meantime,
Yeah, I got a
maybe
couple of questions on the testing front. So maybe I will just touch base.
sure, yeah.
Can we execute test cases or integrate test suite kind of things? Only my screen is still visible for you, right?
Yes, this one, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I was talking about multiple UiPath extensions, right? Here we have something called UiPath test. Okay, so if you add this, you can see that there is an options to execute a test set or test in the project, and you can choose the orchestrator connection, and you can pass the input parameters, orchestrator folder, and your test result path. So you can configure all those things. Yes, you can integrate that. Definitely you can do that. Okay, all right. So do we have any other questions?
Yes, we do have, yeah. There's one question from Ed, right? Maybe you can address that.
Yeah. Hi, Ed, can you just elaborate the question? So should I?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
sure.
listen.
Sure. I guess I was just curious about the business case. I mean, obviously, thank you very much for this. It's very powerful, and I know this has been done in traditional software for quite a few years. I have not seen this in many of the RPA projects I've worked on, and I'm just curious how you guys
Yeah,
got to
I
this point.
understood.
Like what drove it?
Okay, got it. So this modern software development practice is useful in multiple ways. So I will just go with a simple use case. Let's say that you're working on an insurance platform and you have 10 LOBs, okay? And your customer was saying that, hey, I don't want to wait for 10 LOBs to be completed. Whenever you're completing your first LOB, you release the process into live environment. And we'll make use of it. And once you're completing the second and third one, please have a separate release. So when people are saying like this, they are expecting instant outcome from the project, right? So this kind of instant deployment mechanism will help on that front. And that's one way. And another use case will be if you are working on a process, there is a chance for multiple arrays when you are deploying your process into production, right? So there should be a place we should have to counter all those things before we are putting into the production environment, let's say that. So this will help us to have a frequent deployment on the UAT kind of region, and we can test it out what we need. So these are the couple of use cases where this future will be really useful.
Great, thank you. Understood.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we have a question from Vasant that I can see the process name as invoice dispatcher underscore main in DevOps, but I need the process name as invoice dispatcher. Is there something related to this or?
I can see the process name involved as main in that day, but I can see the process. This one you are saying, actually, this is the process name, right? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so Hi everyone. So I can see in the dev orchestrator when it is published from Azure DevOps underscore main, but without underscore main, how would I get it? Because
I think, yeah, I got your question. So
because
you
currently we were publishing it from when we publish the current issue, we have it in our scenario as well in our current real time scenario. That's why.
Yes. So what you can do this, when you are putting through the YAML file thing, right? So there
Hmm.
will be an place where you can pass the inputs and you can give whatever the name you want. Okay. So normally, right, when you're directly publishing anything into the orchestrator, it won't be usually available on the processes. Ideally, you want to add it as a process, correct? Then only it
Correct.
will appear.
Correct.
So what this pipeline is doing, it's generating some default values with whatever we are giving. That's why it's showing with the main. So, and there is another reason as well. Whenever you are adding some process, there will be an naming conversion. So this is what Azure DevOps is following, the name of the process and the entry point. So we can't say that all the times main is going to be the entry point, right? Sometimes it will change.
So you are saying like the input file you have to change it in. We are doing it in a classic way only, like we are feeding all the uh, publish pipeline, release pipeline separately. We are not using YAML file at now.
Okay, yeah, I
So
think
where
on
exactly
the
we have to do that? Because some of the previous processes where we published it, right, it is directly say input dispatcher. It is directly as input. The process name is input dispatcher. But when we have this Azure DevOps pipeline, it is showing as any process, right? Underscore main with add-on.
underscore. Okay, I got your question. We'll do one thing. So we'll check how we can bring these capabilities on the classic way itself without going to the YAML and uh, just uh, just ping me your email ID or something. I will just check this and I will get back to you.
Sure.
Can you put it on your chat on the chat?
Yeah, definitely.
And one more thing, so just start following us on the LinkedIn so that if you have any questions, definitely you can ask us. Maybe
Sure.
Ashwin or somebody can put the LinkedIn URLs so that if you have any specific questions, you can ping there as well. And another way is, about UiPath forum, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
an N number of experts in the world sitting on the forum. So you will be getting very instant updates, okay? So do that way as well. So anyway, I got your question. I will just check this and get back to you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And here is my LinkedIn ID. You can ping me here as well.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll do follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have got one more question. The final. Let's take that as the final one. What are the common possible errors that can usually be expected of doing this?
Yes. Yeah. The common errors will be the one thing will be you are using a different version of CLI on your build machine and you're trying to publish an upgraded version or a log graded version. That's going to be an expected issue. And another issue will be with your project compatibility itself. We know that this Windows legacy will not be there anymore. So, but if you're taking in months back, there will be a lot of issues happen on this platform because of that. So, ideally, the Windows legacy will not create DLL files. Okay, so just create NuGet packages and doing the steps internally, right? But when it is coming to the Windows thing, it will be binding everything as a DLL file. So there was a lot of issues like that. And one more thing is, whenever it's on your build machine itself. So I was mentioning something called NPM, a package manager, right? So if such kind of capabilities is missing or that functionality is not working as expected, that time it's saying that the agent is failed to build the job which you are sent. So that time you should have to go to your logs, okay? So logs in the sense here whatever the things you are doing, I'm just going back to the pipeline. So this is mine, right? And you just click and look here. So this is the pack logs, right? So you should have to understand these logs in a detailed way and understood where the exact issues happen. So there would be errors saying that something is missing. So maybe for the understanding purpose, let me open something is already failed. Okay. Yeah, this is something already failed. Okay. See, if you go here on the logs, you can see that here itself it's saying that no agent found in the pool, or which satisfies this. Correct. Yeah, so maybe you are on your build machine or the build server, some upgrade happened, and because of that, it's not working functional as expected. You will be getting this kind of things, or sometimes your agent service itself not running, or some sort of firewall is restricting this thing on your server machine. So that kind of issues will happen. Yep, sure, Vikram. I got your text. Yep. Any other questions?
I think that's the question we had. I just pasted the LinkedIn file of all of us. We can have a view on it.
Yep, sure. And just one more thing to say here. This is not the end of the session. We will be having sessions tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well. So just this is just one of the approach. Okay, there will be other approaches as well. Please be part of those things and understood how we can utilize the CI/CD on a different aspect.
Yeah, we'll still have 2 days of session on this. We'll connect again for different perspectives, and maybe before we wind up, quick click. Maybe his job and you can stop sharing the screen. It's fine. Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
we'll share the
sure.
recording in the community event page. So you can look for this recording in the community event page, and then you'll be able to see there.
Yeah. Also, openly before we can wind up, everybody can turn off the camera and